Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, for this video I thought I'd do something a little bit different. Let's just get started.
1913, we had the creation of the Federal Reserve and the IRS at the same time. So the Federal Reserve is going to create these artificial paper dollars that we're supposed to use as money. But why would anybody want to use that as money? Because we use gold as money. I got a good idea. We'll also create the IRS at the same time. So what we're going to do is make you go around for a year collecting these paper dollars and send them back to us. And the problem is that in order for this to work, I had to put my gold in the bank and they would give me the dollars back and then we'd exchange dollars. Now what happened is in 1933, they made it where you're no longer allowed to own gold. But don't worry, we're going to cash you out. So we're going to give you the money for the gold, but we're not going to give you the $20 per ounce. We're going to revalue gold. So now gold became $35 an ounce, which means you lost over half of your purchasing power overnight. So it wasn't bad enough that we lost the gold. Now we're stuck on this fake paper money system. But at the same time, they took half of my purchasing power away from me as well.
It's such a shame that more people don't watch little short videos like this. Because Mark Moss, by the way, is a brilliant guy. He's a financial guy. He knows about the Federal Reserve, bonds, Bitcoin, cryptos, all that kind of stuff. The banking system. The guy is, kind of like a genius within the realm of finance. Everything there that he said, ladies and gentlemen, is 100% correct. Pretty much what they did when they confiscated the gold is they took away the people's money. They gave them fake money. And then the value that fake money that they exchange for the gold, the value went down by 69% overnight because they revalued the gold. So FDR did a very bad thing for the American people, but did a very good thing for the banks.
Anybody want to take a guess at the salary for these so-called climate experts?
Panelists, what percent of our atmosphere is CO2?
Repeat that question.
What percent of our atmosphere is CO2, carbon dioxide?
About 5%.
5?
We'll go 7. That's my favorite number.
I'll see their 5 and suggest that we know that transportation causes 49% of CO2, so that's why we're all working on energy transition.
All right, so what number do you think it is?
5.
5? Do you have one, Mr. Boyd?
So we got a 5, 7, 8. I'm going to get the high end.
The answer is 0.04%. Not 1%, not a half of a percent. It's 0.04%. And it's gone up from 0.03 over the last couple decades. This is what we're being all contorted into doing, is this tiny change in CO2. If we get below 0.02, plant life starts dying off.
And these people, ladies and gentlemen, that were testifying in front of Congress, you saw how they were laughing about it. They thought it was just a joke. But to them, it is a joke because they don't have to live with the consequences that they put upon the people by doing this climate change thing and affecting everything we do and how we do it in hopes of saving the planet. The planet's been around for 4.5 billion years, and even a big old meteor wasn't able to wipe out the planet. I doubt that human beings will only affect about 0.0012% of the CO2 that's in the atmosphere is going to do any damage to the earth as well. You don't know how many AI videos I come across on a daily basis. And every time that I come across a video that I can see and I can tell it's AI, I go ahead and I tell YouTube to not recommend that channel to me again. And the reason is, ladies and gentlemen, is we have to fight this at the grassroots level. Don't fall for just watching AI videos because all you're doing is feeding the machine. Go ahead and watch videos from guys like me, who make mistakes, who's not perfect, who can acknowledge that I'm not perfect, that does not have a monotone voice throughout the entire video, that makes mistakes, that sometimes I'm happy, sometimes I'm sad. AI is just a machine. So don't support these AI videos because not only are they used to try to influence you or propagandize you, but it's just not a real person doing it. And the further that we get away from real people, the worse that things are going to end up for us. But check this out.
So here's New York Post, AI generated deportation videos. That's out there.
Let me go!
This is all AI generated.
Stop resisting. Keep moving. You can't take me from her, please. She's right there. Don't do this. She's just a baby.
Get her in the vehicle.
Show intense dramatic scenes of federal agents detaining migrants, many of which are racking up hundreds of thousands of views each. The catch? They're fake and made by AI.
So I don't think most people realize this, but the US government is now an investor in the stock market. They're calling it the new economic strategy. So here's what happened. In the last few months, the US government took ownership in some of the most strategically important corporations in America. Now owns about 10% of Intel, the company that makes our microchips, 15% of a company called MP Materials, which is the only rare earth mining company in the country, about 10% of Lithium Americas, which controls one of the biggest lithium deposits in North America. And it also has what President Trump calls a golden share in US Steel, which gives the US veto power over decisions made by a private company. So all of these companies, which were once privately owned, are now part owned and in some cases controlled by the US government. So I don't think most people realize this, but the US government is now an investor in the stock market.
So what do you think about that, ladies and gentlemen? What happens when governments intermingle with corporations, when they combine each other? You know, there's a name for that. And do you think it's a good idea for our government to actually be intermingling and buying private stocks? I mean, it's a very slippery slope, isn't it? Now let's go ahead and do one more with Mark Moss, because I think this guy is extremely valuable as far as teaching people, you know, about money.
History shows us why we can't trust the government with money. And of course, we could just go back to, again, the founding fathers, and we could see the warnings that they had given us. Jefferson told us that banking institutions would be more dangerous than standing armies. He feared, one, it would create this aristocratic class of financial elites that would then use that for power. They would create debt. They would put the governments into debt. With this creation of paper money and debt, they would cause inflation and deflation to deprive citizens of their property. So the market crashes, you lose your homes. They inflate away the money, you lose your ability to buy property. But in the creation of the Federal Reserve in 1913, they started printing more of the paper debt instruments, or Federal Reserve notes, or as we call them, dollars today. And by 1933, it created this big problem where the government had way too much of this money created. They had way too much debt. The president created our Executive Order 6102, put the banks on holiday. And when the banks came off holiday, they took all your gold. Not only did they take all the gold in the bank, they made it illegal for you to have gold and you had to turn the gold in. And then what they did is, after they took all the gold and made you turn the gold in, then they devalued gold 69%. So then you lost 69% of your property.
It was overnight, basically.
Overnight.
I hope you understand that. I know I started with that video of him explaining how they stole your purchasing power. It's not necessarily that they stole the gold, that they confiscated your gold at the end of the barrel of a gun. But what really matters is that they took from the people their purchasing power. They took the gold in order to fund the central bank, at the same time getting rid of the treasury. And then they revalued that gold in order to more than double the money supply. What did they do with the money supply that they came out of nowhere with after they revalued the gold? They took it and they used it for the Great New Deal, to pay people to go out and build stuff. So what they really did is they used the people's own money after they devalued it, after they took away from them their purchasing power, to hire them to work. It's one of the biggest crimes in the history of the United States, in my opinion. Now, let's go ahead and end it off with one that I just think is really cool. All right, it has nothing to do with money. Everyone ought to have one of these. Look at that. As I'm watching this, I'm like, what in the world is he going to fit in there? A big old hot dog. I think there's enough room in there for two. And look at this. After 27 hours. Oh, that is hilarious. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, I hope that this is a little bit of a change of pace for you. I really enjoy doing this, and this is the kind of stuff I look at when I'm bored. So when you're old and boring, you take a look at videos like this, right? Videos about the Federal Reserve and videos about making a miniature smoker so that you can spend 27 hours smoking a hot dog. Other than that, I hope you have a great day. I hope you're having a good Friday. God bless every one of you. Love you all. God bless America. I'm Alaska Prepper. I'm out.